I was late with our pizza by 15 minutes, and my girlfriend threw my clothes in the driveway, revealing a deeper issue that ended our relationship. Posted by you/crazygirlissues. My name is James, and I am 30 years old. For the past 2 years, I have been in a relationship with my girlfriend, Sarah, who is 29. We have lived together in our cozy apartment for most of that time, building a life around our routines. Both of us work hard. Me running a small business with my brother, her managing a retail store, and we keep a strict diet during the week to stay healthy. Friday nights are our special time to relax, a tradition we call pizza night. We order a take-and-bake pizza from Papa Murphy's, pop open some soda, and watch a movie on our couch. Sarah loves this tradition. She says it's the highlight of her week, and she talks about it all week long, planning which movie we'll watch or what toppings we'll get. Yesterday was my turn to pick up the pizza. My office is about 25 minutes from our apartment, while Sarah's workplace is 20 minutes away. I ordered the pizza at 5 o'clock, planning to leave work at 5:40 after a quick chat with my brother. We own the business together, and we often stay late to brainstorm ideas, tossing around plans to grow our company. My plan was to grab the pizza, drive home, and have it in the oven so it would be ready within 10 minutes of Sarah walking in the door. I figured it would be a perfect evening, just like our usual Fridays, with the smell of pepperoni filling the apartment and Sarah smiling as we settled in. But things did not go as planned. There was a car accident on the freeway, and I got stuck in traffic for an extra 15 minutes. I kept checking the time, frustrated but knowing there was nothing I could do. By the time I got home, I was about 2 minutes behind Sarah. She was already in the living room, her coat still on. As soon as I walked in with the pizza box, I could tell she was upset. Her arms were crossed, and her face was tense. "I'm really disappointed you didn't get the pizza here faster," she said. "You know how important this is to me." I explained there was a traffic accident and that I had planned to have the pizza ready. I thought she would understand, but instead, she started ranting. Sarah said I should have left work at 5 sharp to ensure the pizza was ready when she got home. She brought up the past month, pointing out times when I got home just as the pizza went into the oven, calling me terrible at keeping our tradition. I was stunned. She had never complained about those nights before. I tried to stay calm, apologizing for the delay and offering to start baking the pizza right away. But the argument kept growing. Her voice got louder, and she followed me around the apartment, repeating how I let her down. I felt overwhelmed, so I went into our bedroom to get some space. 5 minutes later, she burst in, continuing to yell about the pizza and saying I had no right to be upset because she was the one disappointed. I told her I needed a break and was going to leave for a while to clear my head. That's when she completely lost control. "If you leave, don't come back," she shouted, chasing me to the front door. "Pack your things and take them with you." I was shocked. She was screaming in the hallway, loud enough for neighbors to hear. I told her she was acting immature and walked out, ignoring her threats. I drove around for a few hours, trying to make sense of what happened. When I returned, I found a suitcase and a bag of my clothes thrown out in the driveway. There were no texts or calls from her. I ended up sleeping on a couch in my office, confused and wondering if I had missed something. Was I insensitive? Was this really about the pizza? I posted about it online in our /M of the asshole, asking if I was wrong for thinking Sarah's reaction was out of proportion. I described our pizza night, the traffic delay, her outburst, and the driveway scene. The responses were eye-opening, helping me see patterns I had not fully recognized. One commenter asked if this was typical for Sarah. I replied, "Sometimes it's like she's a different person. She's kind and loving most of the time, but when she's frustrated, she flips a switch and can't be reasoned with." A few months ago, she got lost picking me up from a car repair shop on pizza night, screamed at me over the phone, and hung up, only to find me 30 seconds later. She apologized, but it was shocking. Another person noted Sarah's sensitivity to routine changes, asking about her history. I shared, she has abandonment issues from her dad leaving and her mom being abusive and addicted to drugs. Her grandmother raised her after her mom went to prison. She emancipated herself at 16. Minor changes upset her, and she cheated on me before. Commenters suggested her behavior resembled borderline personality disorder, BPD, pointing to her fear of abandonment and emotional volatility. People urged me to set boundaries and not fix her issues. One wrote, "She needs professional help, not books. You're not married. It's not your job to save her. Her childhood explains her pain, but it doesn't excuse hurting you." I replied, "She says she feels empty and unlovable, and she cheated because she thought I wasn't loving enough. I try to get her to see a counselor, but she refuses, saying they're useless." The consensus was that her reaction was not about the pizza, but deeper issues, and I needed to protect myself. Update. A few days after my post, Sarah texted me, apologizing and asking me to come home to talk. I was cautious, but agreed, hoping we could find a way forward. When I walked in, she was tearful, saying she knew something was wrong with her, but wasn't sure what. She was scared of medication and skeptical of counseling. I brought up her sister, who has a severe case of borderline personality disorder. Her sister, at 35, has been married multiple times, is often homeless, and feels persecuted by everyone. I had never connected Sarah's behavior to her sister's because her sister's case was so extreme, but I started noticing similarities. Sarah has intense fears of being left, unstable relationships, and few close friends. When she's happy, she calls me perfect. When she's upset, she thinks I'm awful. She's overly sensitive to criticism, has a history of bulimia, and gets paranoid about my thoughts when she's stressed. She feels deep shame and guilt after her outbursts. I suggested she might have similar struggles to her sister. Sarah was curious enough to look up borderline personality disorder online. She took a test and scored in the likely range, though I thought she downplayed some answers. She researched treatment, but was hesitant about counseling, so I suggested self-help books as a start, and she agreed to try them. I felt hopeful but realistic. Sarah admitted her issues, but reading books is not the same as professional help. She suggested I pretend to be concerned about her feelings, even over small things, to avoid triggering her. It reminded me of how we handle her sister's unrealistic rants, which made me uneasy. I realized her pizza meltdown was less about the delay and more about me walking away, which felt like abandonment to her. Commenters were right. It was never just the pizza. Final update. I could not make our relationship work anymore. I had not mentioned earlier, but Sarah had cheated on me multiple times. I recently found texts between her and an ex, where he was upset she wasn't seeing him enough romantically, accusing her of dating other guys. She told him she was single and not looking for others, but was angry he was on a dating site. These messages, combined with her ongoing outbursts, made me realize I could never trust her enough to build a future together. I could not imagine marrying her, having kids, or going on a trip without worrying she was with someone else. Last night, I told Sarah we needed time apart. She exploded, yelling at me to get out and threatening to throw away my things if I didn't take everything. I said she could act childish if she wanted, but I wasn't packing up the whole apartment during her rage. I grabbed my essentials, clothes, laptop, toothbrush, and left. Today, she texted an apology, promising not to discard my stuff, but I'm staying in a motel and looking for an apartment. I feel drained but relieved. This relationship warped my mental state. I stopped pursuing hobbies like hiking and music because every spare moment was spent ensuring Sarah felt loved. I got anxious if I was late from work, fearing her reaction. I own a business, and my creativity suffered because my mind was in a fog. Recently, a great idea boosted my salary from $50,000 to $250,000, which has been a bright spot. I'm excited to focus on myself, reconnect with friends, and rebuild my energy. I'll never know if Sarah had borderline personality disorder because she refused counseling despite my efforts to encourage it. I hope she finds happiness, but I fear she'll repeat this pattern, charming new partners, then pushing them away with her behavior, never taking responsibility. The online support helped me see I wasn't crazy for thinking her reaction was extreme. It wasn't about the pizza, it was about her inability to handle her emotions.